Close your eyes. Go to sleep. Stop staring at the ceiling. If you heard those words enough times, your brain learned something. Not how to fall asleep, something else. It learned that the way your internal clock naturally ticked was a problem to be fixed. Here's what nobody told you. For 200,000 years, that restless brain didn't just survive, it kept everyone else alive. Then we built houses, put locks on the doors, invented the 9-to-5 schedule, and called every brain that couldn't power down at 10 p.m. broken. Before we get to the modern bedroom, we need to understand the brain that's lying awake in it. For almost all of human existence, your ancestors had no streetlights, no alarms, and no deadbolts. They slept in the dirt, in the open, surrounded by a darkness full of predators that hunted at night and rival groups that attacked before dawn. If the entire tribe went to sleep deeply at the exact same time, the tribe died. In that world, the restless brain that refused to shut down wasn't disordered. It was doing exactly what it was supposed to do. The one who lay awake listening to the brush, that wasn't a sleep issue, that was the night watch. The one who woke up at every snapped twig, every weird rustle in the grass, every change in the crickets chirping, that was the security system the whole group depended on. Not a frustrating quirk, not a medical problem. The difference between the group waking up the next morning or not. Now here's the first thing most people get wrong about insomnia and being a night owl. They call it a sleep deficit, a dysfunction, like your biological clock is broken. But that's not what's actually happening. Your brain isn't failing to sleep. It is actively prioritizing alertness. It is responding to an ancient biological mandate to take the night shift. The problem isn't that you can't sleep. It's that your brain was built for an environment where everyone sleeping at the same time was a death sentence. The word insomnia was chosen by a society that needed factory workers to clock in at 8 a.m. It described what was inconvenient for capitalism. It said nothing about what the brain actually was. So in 2017, a team of evolutionary anthropologists decided to find out. They traveled to northern Tanzania to study the Hadza people, a tribe of hunter-gatherers who still live and sleep exactly like our ancient ancestors did. No artificial light, no schedules. The researchers put acti-watches on the tribe members to track their sleep over 20 days. What they found completely shattered the modern idea of a normal sleep schedule. Over those 20 days, totaling hundreds of hours, there were exactly 18 minutes where the entire tribe was asleep. Let that sink in, just 18 minutes. Because of what scientists now call the sentinel hypothesis, human groups naturally produce a mix of early birds and night owls. The older generations woke up early. The younger or more restless adults stayed up late. Someone was always awake. Someone was always watching. The traits that get diagnosed as sleep disorders today, the inability to sleep until 3 a.m., the fragmented sleeping, the hyper-alertness in the dark, turned out to be exactly the right evolutionary equipment to guard the fire. But if this brain is so well built, why does it cause so much real pain today? The absolute exhaustion, the brain fog, the reliance on caffeine, the feeling of being called lazy just because you sleep until noon. Here's what the diagnosis leaves out. The world completely changed, but your DNA didn't. During the Industrial Revolution, we invented the factory whistle. We decided that human productivity happens between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. We forced the ancient night watches to live on the early bird schedule. The condition is often called delayed sleep phase syndrome. The word syndrome is right there in the name. The part where your brain is capable of deep, uninterrupted creative focus at 1 a.m. when the rest of the world is quiet, that didn't make it into the medical manuals. Someone named this condition after the half that looked broken in an office cubicle at 8 a.m. The other half, the part that would have made someone a legendary protector of the tribe, apparently didn't seem relevant. We looked at the exhausted night owl,
forced him to wake up to a blaring alarm, opened a file, and wrote disorder at the top. The diagnosis didn't discover a condition, it named a collision. And the collision was always one-sided. The clock didn't change, the person got the pills. Nobody voting on which sleep schedule civilization would be built around. Daywalking became the template. Then we built schools around it, offices around it, entire economies around it, and every brain that couldn't sleep on command slowly became a patient. Environments, unlike biology, can sometimes be changed. Not easily, but the first step is knowing what you're actually working with. Not a deficit, not a broken clock, a brain built for a world that required guardians in the dark, a brain that in the right environment doesn't just rest, it protects. Find the context where your energy peaks without being forced, not the morning meeting you drag yourself through, but the midnight hours where your mind finally feels clear. That's not a frustrating habit, that's 200,000 years of survival whispering in your ear. Close your eyes, go to sleep, stop staring at the ceiling. Somewhere, sitting by a fire 50,000 years ago, a human heard none of that. They were already awake, already listening, already watching the tree line while the rest of the tribe slept safely behind them. Someone opened a file on that person once. It didn't say insomniac. It said the reason we woke up this morning. Now that you know your sleepless nights might be one of the oldest survival tools in human history, you might also want to know why ancient humans almost never felt lonely.